As the Faversham Fringe segues into its third week, I am continuing to engage with some of the uber-talented individuals who will be performing in the three Fringe venues until the 26th of October. Today, I'm talking to Aimee Cooper about her show, Kitty Cassis, Hiya, in the Guildhall at 4 p.m. on Saturday, the 18th of October. You can also catch her later on Saturday in her improv performance in the Alexander Centre at 7 o'clock. Hi, Aimee. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm really good. Thanks, Wendy. Thank you for talking to me today.
I think it's going to be a great pleasure. So, what inspired you to create Kitty Cassis?
She's sort of an amalgamation of all the women that I grew up with in the Northwest. Yeah, growing up sort of in the late 70s, early 80s in sort of Warrington and like Liverpool and then moving over to the Northeast, a very sort of um, they are women that are lovely and warm and well-meaning, but also can like don't really know the meaning of personal space or boundaries. They would let themselves into our side door to borrow cups of sugar from each other, and yeah, I was around that as a small child. So yeah, my auntie also had like a hair salon, so the kids would just be um sort of it just hanging around. We'd all just be hanging around in there, me and my cousins, and yeah, just the rhythm of the way that everyone spoke to each other there, and that's really where the inspiration came from it. And then obviously lots of layering of seeing Victoria Wood and Julie Walters and even Lily Savage and lots of comedy influences on me as I grew up, French and Saunders, and it's all this melting pot, and Kitty is a product of that, really.
So, she's an amalgamation of your childhood, your influences, and your comedy heroes by the sounds of it.
Yes, yeah.
But so, as that amalgamation, who is Kitty Cassis?
So
What does she
Kitty
do?
Cassis is a sort of glamorous northern powerhouse. She's a hair salon owner, but also dabbles in experimental plastic surgery. And so it's very silly. It's very it's it's quite camp. It's lots of clowning around and when the audience come in, they are basically they've come into the salon for the day. And so you're going to see you're going to hear about all the gossip that's gone on, and and be it's quite interactive because you are kind of pulled into the salon. But equally, having said that, if hearing that makes you go, oh, I can't bear the idea of actually being spoken to as an audience member, I have become quite skilled over the years of spotting terror in people's eyes if it is a genuine kind of fear, and I've become skilled at sort of swerving those people. But the thing about Kitty, um she's just so salt of the earth. She's the sort of person that your mum would chat to at the bus stop for 20 minutes, and then when they're gone, you'd say, "Who was that?" And she'd say, "I've got no idea. I've got no idea who that was." She's just kind of like like a chatterbox, really. That's her vibe. It's not sort of nasty or mean.
Right. So, you're not going to be, as the salon owner, looking at somebody and going, my dear, your hair needs doing today.
Well, listen, if there is advice to be given, I'm sure that Kitty doles it out, whether it's asked for or not. She's always the butt of the joke, though. That is something that is really important to me, and the feedback that I've had over the last 4 or 5 years of doing this character is, you know, you as an audience member, you're almost going me next, willing her to come to you because there's always a bit of yeah, there's some kind banter that can be had, basically. But I think in order, you have to really to experience to come and experience it for yourself,
Right.
basically.
So, are you hoping that your audience will laugh throughout, or are there moments of pathos?
It's funny, really, because obviously, with the world being the way that it is right now, what we're living through, it is definitely a way for me and the audience to escape from all that into this very silly world for an hour. But you can't help life creeping in at the edges. And then the way that Kitty, I mean, she comes from another time. That's the one thing I should say as well. She's quite nostalgic for, you know, her sort of her celebrity clients that she would have been Dale Winton and Rusty Lee and Bonnie Langford. So it's all those stories from back then. And so when I've got a demographic of an audience, maybe lots of people who are sort of in their 50s and 60s, but then there's some sort of millennials who've sneaked in. It's quite funny to hear that, to see them thinking, who is she talking about? Who is she talking about? But then the raucous laughter of people who are like, oh God, I've not heard Timmy Mallet. I've not heard that name for about 5 or 6 years. And so, yeah, I think pathos does creep in around the edges because she is from another time. And there are times that I kind of, oh, weren't things simpler back then? And then like, oh, well, they probably weren't. We just weren't as plugged in online. Or so there will be times when I will refer to the, you know, the real world. But on the whole, it's an escape. It's an escape from seriousness just for a little time.
Well, as you say, as you made mention, there are so many messes in the world at the moment that silly escapes are essential.
Yes.
Absolutely. So one man shows, one lady shows, one woman shows. I never know which one is the one to say. Must be most exhilarating and nerve-wracking. Do you have any or a key unforgettable moment you'd like to share with us today?
Well, there are with my show. I will. There's always a few people who are much more. They're well up for it, and they're really sort of almost out of their seat, wanting to kind of join in. And then obviously, like I said before, there are people who really aren't. But you can never quite tell, because there was one show that I did, and I think it was the last Faversham show that I did. Either last year or the year before, there was somebody who really did not, that they're avoiding eye contact, and so I have a way of sort of swerving around but not making them feel like they've been excluded. Cut to the end of the show, and that person was on the stage, and being my sort of guinea pig, really, and maybe it was the full glass of wine that they walked in with, and then the empty glass of wine by the end of the show. But they were laughing so much, and she came up to me at the end, and she was like, when I first walked in, I was so like, oh no, this is just not my thing. I think a lot of people do find character comedy sometimes a little bit awkward, because it's like, oh, you're dressed as a clown, you expect me to believe whatever world you're creating here. But she said, it's not normally my thing, but I've not laughed like that for so long, and I've had such a rubbish week, and and my ribs are hurting from and my cheeks are hurting from laughing so much. Thank you. And yeah, it was a real, and you know what, I only had about 5 or 6 people in that audience, and my heart sank a bit. It was a few years ago, because it was when I was still trying to build up my audience. And but that show was really special, because actually you can just have a small handful of people, but if you can make a little difference like that, I feel like that's a job well done.
Absolutely. So, is your audience going to go away knowing more about hair salons and beauticians, or just more about how to make your cheeks laugh and laugh out loud and be silly?
I'd like to think a combination of both. I mean, obviously, in Kitty's world, it's lots of her solutions for people's problems are quite outlandish, and so ridiculous that I don't know if actual knowledge will be acquired, but certainly, yeah. I mean, sometimes we discover things even in the show, and I think, well, I hadn't written that, but that's what we've just come up with in the moment. So yeah, sometimes it's me who goes away learning more.
That's brilliant. Aimee, thank you so much for talking to us. So, if you're looking to learn more about the world of beauticians, but maybe learn more about yourself or the wonderful world of Kitty Cassis, then go and see Kitty Cassis Hire in the Guildhall at 4 p.m. on Saturday, the 18th of October. And you also might like to catch Aimee in her improv performance in the Alexander Centre at 7 that evening. Tickets for both are online at favershamfringe.co.uk/what's-on. After this conversation with Aimee, I get the feeling you'll never look at a beauty parlour in the same way ever again. Thanks, Aimee, for talking to Radio Faversham and the people of Faversham today, and good luck with both your shows.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, Wendy.